Alright, the Reds, Tuesday's Talking Reds from Avenue HQ, and today it's all a bit mad. Loads of people are drilling downstairs, people are kicking around in the background, people are going to come in and out. But you know, it's chaotic, but what can I say? We're going to talk about Liverpool and that. This is chaotic as well, by the way. There's not loads going on. But you know, we'll find stuff to talk about. We're going to rip Everton again. So, you know, that's good, isn't it?
It's the reason I'm here, Gareth.
Yeah, I brought you in to rip Everton, mate. You know what I mean? But we're going to start with the Reds because, you know, it's Talking Reds and I always like to start with something Liverpool. I've had to really dig to find something to talk about to you today. But it's about Mo Salah, because why not? He's boss, isn't he? 31 goals. But also, there's a big race on to actually be the Premier League top scorer. And right now, Harry Kane's got 24, and our very own Mo has got 23. So there's a bit of a race on. You want Mo to win that. You want Mo to be the top man at the end of the season. And there's also this constant chat about Mo not actually being a striker. It does my head in a little bit. I mean, like, so what? He's just scoring loads of goals, and that's the main thing. And also, as well, he's been doing a couple of interviews lately, which I quite enjoyed. The one on Footy Focus was good, actually, at the weekend. And he was talking on there and across several interviews about how Klopp's actually tweaked his position a little bit. So people are talking about him being a wing and not a forward. But he actually says, but the manager is making sure that I'm arriving in the box more, that I'm playing more in and around the box than I ever have done before. And basically, EA Sports have done some stats which seems to back this up. Because basically they've done stats for touches in the opposition box. And Mo Salah's top of the league. 201 touches in the Oppo box. Raheem Sterling is second with 199. Kane on 182, and then on it goes. They've also done some stats on successful dribbles. Hazard is top with 119, then Zaha 82, Andros Townsend 65, and then there he is again, Mo Salah 64. And elsewhere in the Echo as well, it is. John Aldridge is talking about Mo Salah as well. Go Mo there on the back of the Echo. And he wants Mo to go for 40. And there's no reason why not, is there? There's 10 left in the league. There's at least 3, you would think, now in the Champions League, because we've got the one against Porto and then at least 2 in the quarters, you would think, you know, being 5-0 up and that. So there's plenty of goals to get, plenty of games to get 9 goals, which is all Aldo's saying. Imagine he finishes on 40.
I've got all of the faith in Mo Salah to do anything. It feels like we can achieve anything with Mo Salah, to be honest. It's funny when you talk about Salah not being a striker. Like, whenever we signed him, we thought he was a bit of a winger, chalking the boots, gets wide. Then whenever you watched him on YouTube, I remember one of the early gutters when we were talking about him, and we all noted just how often he was scoring poachers' goals. Yeah. So I love the whole idea of like, who is a striker these days, because it seems to me, if you look down the list, Harry Kane is your sort of quintessential English striker, that sort of style. Then, like, we've had the same debate around Firmino as well, haven't we? Apparently he's not a striker.
And Kane comes out the box, doesn't he? He works really hard. I mean, that's one of the things he's added to his game. He's not the same lad that was kicking around, was it at Millwall or whatever, when everyone didn't seem to rate him, when he's on loan, I think, there. You know, he's transformed his game. He's turned into a really hard-working player, and you see him deep, but then he makes the run and gets into the box. So, this idea that, we mentioned Aldo. Aldo very much was, when he got, his 30 goals for Liverpool, he very much was a poacher. He was getting set up, he was putting them in the box. And you probably didn't see him that much outside of the box, whereas, as you've just hinted at there a little bit, I think, the modern striker, the modern forward is a little bit different. And when I see this constant chat about, well, he's not really a striker, I just think, well, how often are you watching him? Because he's in the box a lot. Yeah. He's making good runs a lot. And
as you say, he's our furthest man forward.
Yeah, and he scores lots of different goals as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. Like you see, especially against Southampton, I noticed it, where Firmino was dropping deep, and then that allows Mane and Salah to push on forward. It's trying to work out what a striker looks like these days, and it's completely different to what it would have been 10, 15 years ago. It's funny, although I think, was it not a month ago, he was saying that Liverpool needed a 30 goal a season striker. And we've actually got one, and we've got Firmino as well, who, you never know, could end up with that tally as well. It's just mad to think that Mo Salah has the same amount of goals as Luis Suarez got in his best season for Liverpool. That's outrageous. He could never have dreamed that he would end the season, and obviously the season isn't ended yet, but it's going to end the season with a lot more goals, hopefully, and hopefully fire us to number 6 in Kiev as well. But yeah, with a player like Mo Salah in the team, it feels like anything's possible.
Well, Firmino, Mane and Salah have all scored 66 goals between them this season, so that's not bad, is it? 66 goals from that threesome. Mo is still only 25 as well, and Aldo raises that in his column, just saying, there's plenty of years left in his legs yet. I mean, you got the next thing that's going to happen, and I think Aldo is hinting at it, and I agree with him, is that whatever happens, however many goals Mo ends with this season, I can guarantee, whether it's opposition fans, pundits, previews for next season, whatever, you can guarantee it'll be difficult for him to score that many goals. Second season syndrome. He's played in England before, though. This is his second season in England now, if you like, because he played for Chelsea. So I'm not buying that, and I agree with Aldo in that, he's not all of a sudden going to lose the ability to dribble, to shoot, to make the late runs. All the problems that defenders are having with him now, they will continue to have with him next season. And as Aldo says, he's got plenty of running left in those legs, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, all years when you would expect a top forward to be scoring goals.
You could say the same throughout the whole Liverpool team. Look at the team that played the other day. Firmino, Mane and Salah, they've all got years ahead of them, hopefully, at Liverpool. Oxlade-Chamberlain as well, Emre Can, whether it's here at Liverpool or whether it's elsewhere. And even players like Trent, Robertson, Van Dijk's 27, and then the goalkeeper. So there's loads. Hopefully these players stay at Liverpool, and if Mo Salah stays at Liverpool for the next sort of 4 or 5 seasons, I have no doubt that Liverpool can win a first league title in my lifetime anyway.
That would be nice. That would be really nice. We're going to fly right through today and not have the little break in the middle, just because we're winging it a little bit today, and we're trying to get out before we get shouted at, because someone's hired this room, and I used to work with her, and she'll definitely shout at me if I don't get out. So what have we got? Oh yeah, some Anfield Wrap plugs. So the free show already out there, getting good feedback. It was a good lineup, and there's some criticism, as I've mentioned before on Talking Reds, about last week's show. This week's show is a completely different cast, different opinions, and that's the way the Anfield Wrap works. You're not the idea that you like every single contributor and you agree with absolutely everything they say. Not going to happen, and never will happen, and we don't want it to happen, because the football's all about debate and about opinion and about different views, and so is the Anfield Wrap. So the free show's out there, a good laugh, I believe, going to be a good laugh really, with some of the people who were on it, Ben Johnson, Paul Senior, etc.
There's a couple of teasers on our Twitter as well from that show. I think one of the quotes in it is, if you don't think Klopp is brilliant, then you can fuck right off. so there you go.
That's the kind of analysis that the Anfield Wrap provides. I mean, there is also the review show out there, which is a much more serious look, perhaps, at the very same game, getting into depth about the tactics and so on. That's out there. That will be out there today. There'll be a coach home out there as well today, where we speak to fans of other clubs about what's happening there, and also a plug for something else. I mean, look, I know the idea of jumping on board and paying £5 a month for 40 odd podcasts isn't everyone's cup of tea. Some people are a bit like, I don't know whether I'd listen to them, I don't know if I want to pay for podcasts, I'm not sure. Fine, so another way you can do all this really is the AnfieldWrap.bandcamp.com. There's several things on there already, but we've just uploaded something new, which is the Dalglish glory years, 85, 86 and 87, 88. Fantastic times to be a Liverpool fan, and you don't have to remember them, because the idea of this package is that it's with fans who were there, talking about it in depth over a series of episodes, reliving those fantastic years. And if you don't want to subscribe to the Anfield Wrap, but you fancy this, well, you can have a go, because the episode of each edition is available on a pay what you want basis, and then each subsequent episode is available for just £1, or you can buy the absolute lot, the whole album, for £5, or you could just subscribe to the Anfield Wrap and you can access all this stuff that way. Either way, anyway, if you fancy the Bandcamp option, the AnfieldWrap.bandcamp.com. All right then, the papers, we'll go straight into them, no little break as I say. One of the big stories is the idea that there will be a winter break. We've talked about this before, but they've been getting the Reds together, the decision makers, and they've come up with the idea that a whole round of the FA Cup will be played in midweek to secure this winter break. The FA, the Premier League and the Football League are understood to have reached agreement for an annual 2-week break in early February, beginning the season after next and before the resumption of European fixtures. Under the plan, the 5th round of the FA Cup will be played entirely in the middle of the week and without replays. So there you go. I mean, it's the idea that all Premier League clubs will have at least 13 days without a match. It'll be staggered, which we discussed on here before. So it's the idea that there'll still be football all over the television, of course, but each team will get a bit of a winter break, and this in theory will benefit both club teams and the England team when they go and play in Euro 2020, future World Cups and so on. My little concern about it is, and I'll always fight the corner for it, feels like you're killing the FA Cup a little bit more again. 5th round replays will, 4-4 with Everton was a 5th round replay and is one of the most famous results in Liverpool's history, I guess, or certainly a significant one. I don't know. I'm a bit like that about it. And also, if you're scrapping the replay, then you're also taking a payday away from clubs lower down the pyramid as well.
I think that's the thing, you don't want them to miss out on that, do you? And I think that's one of the genuinely enjoyable things about the FA Cup is when the minnows. I know we take the piss out of the magic of the FA Cup and all of that, but it's exciting to see the minnows sort of get a chance to go to Old Trafford or Anfield and so on. I think as well I'd be interested to see how they work it around the Champions League teams as well, because obviously Champions League ties are played in February.
But saying it's going to be before that.
Do you want to not? Oh, so it's going to be before that. So yeah, that's it'll be a weird one. Does that mean that the Anfield Wrap get a 2-week winter break? Are you going to give us 2 weeks off? Or?
Nah, man. No, we've got talking Reds to do every day, mate. You know what I mean? I mean, the other thing as well is that the other thing as well is it kind of feels like the very top of football's getting together and boxing themselves off, which happens quite a lot, and they don't really speak to the other stakeholders in it, which is the clubs all the way down the pyramid, and which is the fans as well. To be honest, I mean, there was something I don't know if you saw this, Craig, last night in Dortmund. Dortmund were playing at home, and 25,000 fans stayed away. And the reason being is that they were protesting against the idea of Monday night football live on the television. I'm banging to that, I've got to be honest with you. I think it's probably one of the next things that fans should be aiming to do in this country. Not just Monday night football, but the idea that football is constantly moved around to mad kick-off times, to mad days, and they don't think about the fans. I get the idea that people want football on television virtually every day of the week now, but you should be thinking about the fans who go to those games. So if you support Newcastle, you shouldn't be asked to go down to Bournemouth for 12:30 on a Saturday. Things like that. You need to have a think about the logistics of the fans getting to games. It needs to be fair in that respect. And if it's not going to be fair, if telly companies and football associations aren't going to listen, then the fans have got to start protesting. And that's what they did over ticket prices. And you've got the away cap now, £30, which was a step in the right direction. That wouldn't have happened without the fan protest. I know some people get sniffy about it, say it's a load of bollocks, it's not worth it, all that sort of stuff. Will sound, you're entitled to your opinion. But the work the Spirits of Shankly have done, the work that the Football Supporters Federation have done has been fantastic. And it's fantastic to see fans abroad doing something similar as well. Germany have always been really active on the fan side. Fans have probably a bigger say, I would say, in how football is run over there than here. But that doesn't mean we can't pick up that baton and do something similar.
Is it Brighton that's playing United on a Saturday night at 8 p.m? I think I saw that somewhere. That's wild. Imagine having to get back to Brighton.
I know. Well, you're not, are you?
No, you're not. You're expected to stay over, exactly,
yeah.
And that's whenever it becomes even more expensive for fans. So that was the one that stood out for me as just being absolutely ludicrous, to be honest.
What else have we got in the papers? We have got there's Arsenal chat. I mean, feels like we're always having a pop at Arsenal lately, and poor old Sam sitting behind the camera with his gloomy face. Poor Sam. But no, I wonder how he feels about this. What do you think about this? Wenger facing the axe. It's a thumbs up from Sam. He's had enough. See you later, Mr. Wenger. Well, if he goes, one of the hot tips, according to the Mail and other sources, is that Brendan Rodgers is on the shortlist for the job. Now, obviously, he was manager of Liverpool. He seems to still divide opinion among Liverpool fans. There's still people who don't like him, who don't like how he acted, what he said. They don't think he was a very good manager. They use awful phrases like fraud. Like,
the worst phrase in football, by the way.
It is the worst phrase in football. I mean, like, honestly, you just don't get... I mean, like, look, you can say that he maybe didn't have the pedigree to get the job in the first place, and I understand why you would say that. The CV wasn't the strongest CV you've ever seen in terms of taking the Liverpool job. But fraud... He'd worked in football, like, he hadn't just rocked up and gone...
Like me and you. Yeah. Me and you just rocked up, got the Arsenal manager.
Any jobs there, John Henry, lad?
Frauds.
You know what?
That would be fair. That would be fair.
But we're just footy fans talking in front of a camera. We're not trying to, like, get managers' jobs and that. But, like, the one I hate as well on Rodgers as well is that, you know, we did come so close to the title, and then it's just like, well, it was all Suarez. Well, it wasn't though, was it? Because
is it all Salah this season then?
I know, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't all Suarez, it was... Like,
but also Suarez gives him credit for it.
No, I know.
Suarez himself said he's one of the best coaches I've worked for, and he tweaked things to benefit the talent of Suarez. Then you had Sturridge scoring a load of goals. You had Sterling chipping in with double figures. You had Gerrard chipping in with double figures.
Coutinho as well.
He made it all tick. You know, the manager must have made... If the players didn't have faith in that manager, that season doesn't happen. They can't just make it happen on their own. So the manager deserves some credit for it. And if he's linked to the Arsenal job, then, you know, perhaps you do a good job there.
I think, like, you know, Brendan Rodgers gave me one of the most fun years supporting Liverpool I've ever had. He came closest to anyone that has done in my lifetime, and I feel he's unfairly treated, and I think a lot of it stems back from that Being Liverpool documentary. Like, I watched it last summer.
That did him no favours.
I watched it last summer and I'm cringing the whole way through it, but like, that wasn't his idea. He didn't want to do that, did he?
Owners?
He was brought in and the owners made him do it, so I felt sorry for him on that front. But look, I wish him all the best. Like, he's done a brilliant job at Celtic so far, and I'd love to see him come back into the Champions, into the Premier League as well. So yeah.
I've got Sam tapping his watch, and I tried to have a sly look. I've got Nina handing things out and just basically going, hurry up, Robbo. And we haven't even got into Everton. I mean, we've got to get into Everton. Let me get into Everton, Nina Soz. So, look, there's a boss piece in The Guardian today by Andy Hunter, who is a Blue, but is also a good journalist. And he's written a piece. It's 2 years since Moshiri put his money into Everton. Moshiri's cash injection fails to revive Everton. Boss. And some of the highlights of that, I've bullet pointed them here. So he says, Moshiri's invested almost £250 million into the club in those 2 years. And Andy says in his piece, sums it up with this sentence, absolutely brilliant. Tentative progress on a new stadium, deeply disillusioned fans, and what in many respects is the worst Everton team this century, represents a meagre return for his money. I think so, and I think so. I mean, and just to rub it in, I mean, some Blues watch us and give us stick. So if you're watching, lads, a few reminders for you. It's 23 years now without a trophy. Since Moshiri arrived at Everton, you've spent £277 million on 18 players. There's about 4 of them that are any good. You were the 5th highest spending club in Europe last summer. And also, you all went on Twitter, or many of you went on Twitter, including me and the Anfield Wrap, saying, your heads are falling off because the Blues are going to be great. There's going to be a Merseyside power shift, lads. Well, guess what? We're 3rd, and we're a use. You's a crap. 2 wins in the last 11 under Sam the big gravy man. And you know what? If this new ground plan goes belly up, I honestly think the Mersey's just over there behind this camera, and I think the day that it's announced that dock plan is not going to happen, you will see Evertonians file like lemons and just walk straight into the sea, because they've pinned everything. They've pinned everything on getting this stadium, and it's still a bunch of rubble down there by the wastewater treatment plant, the poo camp.
And we'll be stood just watching them with red pyro.
Yeah. How's it going, lads? All right. So yeah, we'll see what happens with all that. But you know, so far so bad for Moshiri, which is hilarious. And last of all, good shout for Nottingham Forest. Well in, they're offering £10 season tickets for 4 to 11-year-olds, £50 season tickets for 12 to 17-year-olds, and £100 deals for 18 to 23-year-olds. Absolutely brilliant. I don't care how many fans they've got and what league they're in. They don't have to do that, and that's fantastic because we need kids in the ground. We need football supporters of tomorrow. That's the end of me ranting for today. That's been Talking Reds.